Hello everyone, welcome to our channel, Rebecca Stew and the crew. I'm Rebecca. Today we have a Dollar Tree craft idea video for y'all, so let's go over our supplies for our first DIY. We're going to use this microfiber cloth. It's a towel from the Dollar Tree, some fusible interfacing from Dollar Tree as well. We'll need a pencil, some scissors and paper, and a picture to draw around. I'm going to use this Easter bunny. We'll need a tapestry needle and some colored craft string from the Dollar Tree. I'm also going to use one of their blank tote bags that you can pick up in their crafting section. You can use an embroidery hoop, but it's really not necessary. We will need an iron, and I'm going to use some fusible adhesive spray. You could also use the heat and bond tape. It's really up to you. You can pick those up at Walmart. So let's get crafty. So the first thing we're going to do is pick a few of these Easter eggs out. I'm going to use the larger sizes, and we're going to cut 6 out. We'll need 3 for each side of our Easter bunny. And then we'll trace around the pattern to create a large applique for our tote bag. So if you can't find that wooden bunny from Dollar Tree, they're kind of hard to find because they sell out really quickly. You could always just Google a silhouette picture of an Easter bunny from the internet, like a coloring book page, and then print that out to make your applique pattern. So then we'll just cut that out of the paper, and then we'll pin it to some fabric of your choice from the Dollar Tree. So what we're going to do is just pin this down, and then we will trace around it, or you can just cut around it. So I chose just to go ahead and cut mine once I pinned it down. But if it's easier for you, you can go ahead and just trace around the shape and then remove the paper and cut it out. For some people, that's a little bit easier. I chose to just leave the paper on and cut around it. And it's not that important to have really smooth borders here. Like, I'm going to cut it out as neat as I can. But if it's a little bit wavy, I'm not going to worry about it too much, because when we add this to our bag with the yarn or the string, we're going to pretty much cover up most of the border that you're going to see for the fabric, and it's going to hide any imperfections, and it's going to be really cute when it's done. It's got this really pretty colorful border, and I just love the way that these turn out. And of course, you can do other holidays and things like that. You're not stuck to just an Easter bunny. But since Easter's coming, I thought it would be cute to do a tote bag. I try to steer away from just doing a bunch of signs for craft ideas. That seems to be popular in the Dollar Tree crafting world. So I try to mix it up a little bit and make it different. So now we're taking that interfacing, and we're going to just iron this onto our fabric. And this is going to help give it some durability, make it a little bit more stable and easier to work with, because it's a little bit floppy. Material is pretty thin from the Dollar Tree, so this helps out a lot. So we're just going to use that rough side and lay our Easter eggs on top of it and our Easter bunny. I'm going to make sure it's big enough to cover the whole entire egg, and then you will want to have like some parchment paper or some tissue paper to lay over top of your Easter eggs when we iron it down to the interfacing, or the fusible interfacing there. So I'm just covering it up with some parchment paper, and then using my iron to glue that interfacing down to the fabric. Just takes a few seconds, and you can see how much more sturdy this is, and I just like it. It's a lot easier to work with the fabric when it has that durability to it. So then we'll take this spray adhesive. I picked this up at Walmart. You can also use that adhesive tape. You really don't have to use the adhesive. I like these down to my fabric. You want to let that dry once you've sprayed it. And what I like to do is I like to iron my appliques down to hold them in place. It just makes it easier to sew them. Then I don't need to use that embroidery hoop or any pins. I just took a piece of cardboard and stuck that down in the bag, and then I ironed the applique in place. I just wanted to make sure that the glue didn't go through the bag. And you can see it's so much easier to work with the applique when you actually glue it down first, which is why I not spray adhesive. So I lost some of my footage. I apologize. You can see I've already done most of the blanket stitch, but this is just called a blanket stitch, and I'm going to explain how I'm doing this. So all I'm doing is I'm taking my needle, and I'm going in about 1/4 inch on the inside of the applique, and then the needle comes out underneath of the applique right on the edge. You want it as close to that edge as possible. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to put it into the app, and then it comes out right along the edge. And then you'll pull your thread, create a little loop, and then put the needle through the loop and pull it tight. And then you'll get that blanket stitch. So we'll do a few more so you guys can see how I do it, kind of see the pattern. And then you just pull that blanket stitch tight, and you get this really pretty decorative border all the way around your applique. And then that glue that we helped use to iron it down holds any frayed edges or anything all down in place. And then once you put your thread on the outside border, that blanket stitch, it covers it all up and gives you this really nice, pretty decorative edge. And it looks like you hand embroidered the whole thing with these applique. And of course, you're doing that blanket stitch. It goes pretty quick. Didn't take me very long to make this bag. But it looks like there's a lot more work involved than it actually is, especially since you're putting it down with that adhesive spray. So I used some ombre looking thread, which I thought was really neat on the bunny. I used coordinating thread for the Easter eggs, and we made this cute, adorable tote bag. You could use it for shopping. Little ones could use it for like an Easter egg hunt. It's so fun. So for DIY number 2, it's basically the same thing. It's just a sweatshirt. I used this green fabric from Dollar Tree in a sweatshirt, the green thread, and then I printed shamrocks off of the internet. I did 3 side by side. I cut the fabric out, and then I ironed it in place just like I did for the tote bag, and did the blanket stitch around the shamrocks and made this adorable sweatshirt. So you can make all kinds of different sweatshirts for different holidays. DIY number 3, the supplies we're going to need are a t-shirt. We're also going to be using some more of the Dollar Tree fabric. We're going to use the Dollar Tree Crafter Square iron-on vinyl. And then we printed a out from a coloring book page on the internet. You can use a Cricut to cut out your fabric, or you can just trace it like we did the first one and cut it out. And then, of course, you would want that heat and bond. That would help. And then you need your iron. So let's get crafty. So what I did is I cut the bunnies out of the fabric on my Cricut. But again, you can just trace around your pattern and cut it out with your scissors. So I did 3 different bunnies side by side from a coloring book page. I also cut it out of the vinyl, and this is the iron-on vinyl, and I'm just removing the extra vinyl that I'm not going to need. And this was a little bit smaller, so when I traced it, I made sure that I had a border around it. That way, when we put it on our shirt, it's going to cover up the edges of the fabric and help hold it in place. So this basically is taking the place of the thread. So I use the heat and bond and the iron to iron down the bunny fabric in place, and then I put the vinyl over top, and I'm going to iron that down. Again, you don't have to have a Cricut. You can cut this out with a razor blade, and it works the same. I've done several videos showing how to do that. And then we just made this fun peep shirt, and just has that vinyl holding the fabric down. And that is our video for today. I'm sorry I lost some of the footage. It just completely deleted. I was so upset, but I want this video out for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And here are some other videos from our channel you might also enjoy. I hope y'all have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.